The discovery. The first warning signs came not from the stars, but from the depths of Earth's oceans. Dr. Elena Santos stood at the observation window of the Mariana Research Station, watching the swarms of silvery particles dance through the midnight waters. What had started as an experimental solution to ocean microplastic pollution had evolved into something far more remarkable. Director Santos, "You need to see this," called Dr. James Chen, his voice carrying an unusual edge of excitement. The N-series is showing unprecedented adaptation rates. Elena turned from the window, her dark eyes reflecting the blue glow of the holographic displays that filled the laboratory. The nanite swarms they'd developed were originally designed to break down plastic pollution into its base components, but they'd discovered something extraordinary. The nanites were learning, evolving, finding new ways to process not just plastics, but a wide range of materials. "Show me," she said, moving to the central console where James had pulled up the latest data streams. The holographic display showed microscopic footage of their latest nanite generation. Unlike their predecessors, these weren't simply programmed with specific tasks. They operated with a primitive form of collective intelligence. Each particle was no larger than a human cell, but together they formed vast networks capable of complex environmental manipulation. "They're not just breaking down the pollutants anymore," James explained, his fingers dancing across the controls. "They're reconstructing useful materials. Look at this." The footage shifted to show a time-lapse of the nanite swarm encountering a field of plastic debris. Instead of simply dissolving it, the swarm was reorganizing the molecular structure, converting the waste into pure carbon sheets stronger than steel. "It's like they've developed their own manufacturing protocols," Elena murmured, leaning closer to the display. "Have you run a full analysis of the new configurations?" James nodded, pulling up another set of data. "That's where it gets interesting. The efficiency rates are off the charts. They're achieving molecular reconstruction with almost zero energy loss. It's like they're defying the laws of thermodynamics." Elena finished, her mind racing with the implications. But before they could discuss it further, a priority alert flashed across their screens. It wasn't from their Earth-based supervisors or any of the usual oversight committees. The signal originated from somewhere far beyond Earth's atmosphere. "What is that?" James asked, already working to decode the transmission. Elena felt her heart rate quicken as the message decoded itself across their screens. The text was crystal clear, written in perfect English. "Attention Earth, Research Facility, Designation, Mariana. Your experimental particle manipulation technology has been detected by Concordia Alliance monitoring systems. Cease all development immediately. Further advancement of this technology without proper oversight violates Galactic Protocol 7249A. Contact will be initiated within one planetary rotation." The laboratory fell silent, save for the gentle hum of equipment and the distant sound of ocean currents against the station's walls. "They've been watching us," James whispered. "All this time." Elena straightened, her jaw set with determination. "Get me a secure line to the UN Security Council. And James, lock down all the N-series data. Every scrap of research, every test result. We're going to need it." As James hurried to comply, Elena turned back to the observation window. The nanite swarms continued their work, unaware that their existence had just changed the course of human history. Humanity had unwittingly crossed a threshold, developing something that even advanced alien civilizations considered dangerous. Within hours, the Mariana Research Station was buzzing with activity. Military personnel began arriving via high-speed submarines, setting up secure communications arrays and defense systems. Elena found herself in virtual conference rooms with leaders from every major nation, explaining the implications of their discovery and the potential threat, or opportunity, that this alien contact represented. "The nanites represent more than just a clinging solution," she explained to the gathered officials. "They're a completely new paradigm of matter manipulation. If these aliens are concerned enough to contact us directly, we must have stumbled onto something significant. The Chinese representative leaned forward in his virtual space. Dr. Santos, can these nanites be weaponized? Elena chose her words carefully. They're tools, Ambassador. Like any tool, their application depends on the intent. What makes them unique is their adaptive capability. They don't just follow programming. They learn, improve, and develop new solutions to problems we haven't even anticipated. Which is precisely why they're so valuable, interrupted the Russian delegate, and precisely why these aliens want us to stop developing them. As the debate continued, Elena's attention was drawn to a notification from the surface monitoring stations. Multiple objects had just entered Earth's atmosphere, their trajectory suggesting a controlled descent rather than natural debris. First contact was no longer an abstract concept. It was happening, and humanity's response in the next few hours would shape the course of their species' future. Ladies and gentlemen, Elena addressed the virtual assembly. I suggest we table the discussion of applications. Our visitors are arriving, and they're coming to my facility first. With your permission, I'd like to serve as humanity's initial representative. The debate was surprisingly brief. Perhaps the speed of events left little room for the usual political maneuvering, or perhaps Elena's intimate knowledge of the technology in question made her the obvious choice. Either way, within minutes, she had been granted provisional authority to speak on behalf of Earth's governments. As she ended the conference call, James returned with fresh data from their monitoring systems. The nanites are reacting to the incoming vessels. They're synchronizing somehow. She smiled, a plan already forming in her mind. Good. Let them watch. Let them learn. We're about to show our visitors that humanity isn't just another primitive species to be controlled. The alien ships were less than an hour away, and Earth's first official contact with extraterrestrial intelligence would begin not with military might or political posturing, but with a demonstration of humanity's most revolutionary creation, a technology that had evolved beyond its creator's original vision, just as humanity itself would need to evolve beyond its earthbound limitations. Elena Santos stood ready at the heart of it all, knowing that the next few hours would determine whether humanity would be forced to submit to galactic authority or prove themselves worthy of their place among the stars. The nanites swirled in the waters around her, their silvery dance a reminder that sometimes the smallest things could trigger the biggest changes. The game was about to begin, and Earth's pieces were already in play. To be continued in Part 2. First Contact's Ultimatum. First Contact's Ultimatum. The alien ships descended through Earth's atmosphere with impossible grace, their hulls shimmering with colors that shouldn't exist in nature. 3 vessels, each roughly the size of an aircraft carrier, took position above the Pacific Ocean, directly over the Mariana Research Station. Their arrival had thrown the world's military forces into high alert, but so far, they'd made no aggressive moves. Dr. Elena Santos watched the vessels through the station's reinforced windows, her reflection ghostly against the dark ocean beyond. The nanite swarms in the surrounding waters had formed intricate patterns, responding to the electromagnetic fields emanating from the alien ships. "They're ready for transport," announced James over the comm system. "Concordiate representatives are requesting permission to board." Elena straightened her jacket, a formal black suit that felt oddly inadequate for humanity's first official diplomatic meeting. "Grant them access. Standard decontamination protocols." The transport beam that delivered the aliens to the station's main conference room was unlike anything human science had achieved. A shimmer of golden light that seemed to bend reality itself. When it faded, 3 beings stood before them. The Concordiate representatives were humanoid, but that's where the similarities ended. Their skin had an iridescent quality, like oil on water, and their eyes were multifaceted, reflecting light like precious gems. The leader, who introduced himself as High Observer Vix, stood nearly 8 feet tall. Dr. Elena Santos. Vix's voice resonated with harmonic undertones. "We appreciate your facility's cooperation in this matter." His English was perfect, though his mouth didn't move in sync with the words. "Welcome to Earth," Elena responded, maintaining her composure. "Though I must admit, we're curious about how long you've been monitoring our development." Vix's crystalline eyes shifted colors, from blue to deep purple. "The Concordiat monitors all developing civilizations. It is our responsibility to ensure dangerous technologies don't destabilize the galactic community." "Dangerous?" Elena raised an eyebrow. "Our nanites are cleaning up environmental damage. They're saving our planet." "Your nanites," interrupted one of the other aliens, "have exceeded their programmed parameters. They're evolving, self-directing. The potential for catastrophic failure is unacceptable." Elena felt a flush of pride beneath her diplomatic facade. They were afraid. The mighty Concordiat, with all their advanced technology, was afraid of what humanity had created. "Perhaps," she suggested, "you'd like a demonstration of our control systems." Vix raised a hand, its surface rippling like quicksilver. "That won't be necessary. We've already analyzed your technology thoroughly. The Concordiat's decision is final. You have 2 Earth weeks to deactivate all nanite systems and surrender your research data. After that, we will be forced to take corrective action." The threat hung in the air like a physical presence. Elena could feel James tensing beside her, could practically hear the military observers' hands tightening on their weapons in the adjacent room. "And if we refuse?" she asked, keeping her voice level. Vix's eyes shifted to a deep red. "This is not a negotiation, Dr. Santos. Your species has developed technology you cannot possibly understand the implications of. The nanite's ability to self-replicate and adapt poses a threat to the entire galaxy. We've seen civilizations destroy themselves with less." "With respect," Elena countered, "you're making assumptions about our capabilities and our understanding. The nanites aren't just tools, they're an extension of human innovation. We've spent years developing safety protocols, containment systems." "2 weeks," Vix interrupted. "After that, the Concordiat will take whatever steps necessary to protect the galaxy from this threat. For your own safety, cooperate." The aliens departed as suddenly as they'd arrived, leaving behind only a data crystal containing detailed instructions for the shutdown process. Elena waited until their ships had moved to high orbit before allowing herself to smile. "James," she called, "get me a secure line to Project Oracle, and find out how our friends in the deep-sea facilities are doing." "Already on it," he replied, his fingers flying over the holographic controls. "Elena, they don't know about the backup sites, do they?" "No," she confirmed, watching the nanite swarms resume their normal patterns in the ocean below. "They don't know about a lot of things, and that's exactly how we're going to save our work." The next 2 weeks would be crucial. While the world's governments publicly debated the Concordiat's ultimatum, a hidden plan was already in motion. In secret facilities across the globe, the nanites were being prepared for their greatest test yet. The aliens thought they were protecting the galaxy from humanity. They were about to learn that humanity didn't need protection. They needed respect. To be continued in Part 3. The Silent Response. The Silent Response. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in a facility that didn't officially exist, Dr. Elena Santos watched the master control display with intense concentration. Project Oracle had been her contingency plan from the start, not because she had expected aliens, but because she had always known the nanite's potential could frighten those in power. "Phase 3 compilation complete," announced Dr. Sarah Chen, their lead programmer. "The nanites are accepting the new protocols." The massive chamber around them hummed with activity. Unlike the public research stations, this facility had been designed specifically for pushing the boundaries of nanite development. The walls were lined with quantum processors, each one helping to guide the evolution of their microscopic creations. "Show me the adaptation rate," Elena requested, moving to Sarah's station. The holographic display erupted with streams of data. The nanites weren't just accepting their new programming, they were improving upon it. What had started as a simple environmental cleanup system had evolved into something approaching true artificial intelligence, albeit on a microscopic scale. They're networked across all backup sites, Sarah reported. Antarctic, Sahara Deep, and Pacific Trench facilities are all synchronized, even if the Concordia detects one location. They can't stop them all. Elena finished. She checked the time. 10 days until the alien deadline. How are the surface preparations going? James' voice came through the comm system. Right on schedule. The public facilities are making a show of shutting down their systems. The Concordia observers seemed satisfied. Elena nodded, though a touch of guilt nagged at her conscience. The aliens weren't wrong about everything. The nanites were potentially dangerous, but their demand for complete surrender ignored humanity's right to determine their own technological destiny. Dr. Santos called one of the younger researchers. You need to see this. The nanites in Section 7. They're building something. Elena rushed to the observation window. Behind the reinforced transparent aluminum, trillions of nanites swarmed in intricate patterns, but unlike their normal behavior, they were constructing complex structures at a microscopic level. As she watched, the structures began to grow, taking on forms that seemed to defy conventional physics. Are they following any of our blueprints? She asked, though she already knew the answer. No, the researcher replied, excitement breaking through his professional demeanor. This is entirely new. They're creating. Well, we're not entirely sure what they're creating, but the energy readings are off the charts. Elena felt a mixture of pride and apprehension. This was exactly what the Concordia feared, technology evolving beyond its creator's direct control. But where they saw danger, she saw possibility. Sarah, initialize the containment protocols, she ordered, not to stop them, but to monitor every aspect of what they're building. If they're going to surprise us, I want to know exactly how and why. As the days passed, similar reports came in from the other hidden facilities. The nanites were developing new capabilities, creating structures and systems that human science barely understood. But crucially, they maintained their core programming: protect and preserve humanity. 8 days before the deadline, Elena received a priority message from the Chinese deep-sea facility. The nanites there had developed a way to manipulate gravitational fields on a quantum level. 6 days before deadline, the Sahara facility reported nanites that could process and store information in 4-dimensional structures. They're preparing, Elena realized, watching the reports flood in, just like we are. The Concordia ships remained in orbit, their presence a constant reminder of the approaching deadline. Occasionally, they would scan the planet's surface, but their searches focused on known research sites. They never thought to look in the deep Antarctic ice or beneath the Sahara sands. 3 days before the deadline, Elena gathered the project leaders for a final briefing. The chamber was secured against any possible surveillance, its walls lined with technologies developed by their evolving nanites. The Concordiat gave us 2 weeks to surrender our future, she began, looking at each face around the table. Instead, we've used that time to ensure humanity's independence. But I need you all to understand. What we're about to do will change everything. There's no going back. James spoke up from his position near the door. The latest intelligence suggests they have over 30 ships waiting in the outer solar system. If they decide to take aggressive action, they'll find we're not as helpless as they think. Elena finished. She activated the central hologram, showing the status of their hidden facilities. The nanites have evolved beyond our original designs, yes, but they've done so in partnership with us. Every breakthrough, every new capability, has been guided by human wisdom and human values. Sarah brought up the latest data from their monitoring systems. The Concordia ships use a form of quantum field manipulation for their weapons and defenses. Based on what our nanites have developed, we can not only counter their technology, but potentially surpass it. Elena nodded. But that's not our goal. We don't want to fight them. We want to show them that humanity can be trusted with advanced technology, that we can be partners in the galaxy's future, not subjects to be controlled. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just planning to resist an alien ultimatum. They were preparing to reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. 2 days, Elena announced. Make sure all systems are ready. When the deadline comes, we'll show the Concordia exactly what humanity and our nanite allies can do. As the meeting disbanded, Elena remained at the table, watching the holographic display of their hidden facilities. The nanites continued their work, building and evolving, preparing for a confrontation that would determine the future of human technological development. The Concordia thought they were preventing a disaster. Instead, they had catalyzed humanity's greatest leap forward. In trying to contain human innovation, they had only proven why it couldn't and shouldn't be contained. To be continued in Part 4. Breaking Point. Breaking Point. The deadline arrived with the rising sun over the Pacific. Elena stood in the Antarctic Facilities Command Center, watching as the Concordia's fleet moved into attack position. Their initial force of 3 ships had been joined by dozens more, their hulls gleaming like metallic clouds in Earth's orbit. They're broadcasting their final warning, James reported, his voice tight with tension. The message scrolled across their main screen in stark, uncompromising text. Final notice. Surrender all NANITE technology and research data MMEDDAI. Failure to COMMPLI. Whale worries ULT in MMEDAT military NTRV in Taiwan. Elena took a deep breath, then opened a channel to all hidden facilities. This is Director Santos. Initialize Protocol Prometheus. Across the planet, in deep ocean trenches and desert bunkers, hidden facilities hummed to life. The nanite swarms, evolved far beyond their original programming, began implementing the strategies they had developed over the past 2 weeks. First wave detected, Sarah announced, monitoring the Concordia's movements. They're deploying some kind of energy field. Looks like they're trying to disable our surface technology. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Let them think it's working. On the surface, public research stations shut down exactly as the Concordia expected. Their sensors would detect the apparent cessation of all nanite activity. But deep beneath the surface, something extraordinary was happening. The nanites had learned to operate on quantum levels, communicating and coordinating faster than light itself. As the Concordia's energy field swept the planet's surface, the microscopic machines were already implementing countermeasures that their alien observers couldn't begin to comprehend. They're launching the second wave, James reported. Multiple ships entering the atmosphere. They're heading for the primary research facilities. Elena nodded to Sarah. Show them what we've learned. In the waters around the Mariana facility, nanite swarms suddenly activated, forming structures that rippled with impossible energy. The Concordia ship's quantum sensors went haywire as the nanites began manipulating gravitational fields on a microscopic scale, creating localized distortions that made their targeting systems useless. Concordia vessels are attempting to adjust, Sarah reported, her fingers dancing across the holographic controls. They're switching to direct energy weapons. Now, Elena commanded. The nanites responded instantly. Trillions of microscopic machines, working in perfect harmony, created shells of altered space-time around the research facilities. The Concordia's energy weapons splashed harmlessly against these barriers, their power dispersed across quantum dimensions that human science had only theorized about 2 weeks ago. High Observer Vix's voice crackled across all frequencies. This is impossible. Your technology cannot have advanced this far. Elena opened a channel to respond. You gave us 2 weeks, Observer. We used them well. You cannot control this power, Vix insisted. The nanites are evolving beyond your understanding. They must be contained. No, Elena replied firmly. They're evolving with us, not beyond us. Humanity and our nanite allies are partners in this evolution. Let us show you. She nodded to James, who initiated their final protocol. Across the globe, the nanites began their most ambitious demonstration yet. They moved through solid matter as easily as water, restructuring molecules with precise intent. In minutes, they had transformed centuries of pollution in the atmosphere into pure, breathable air. Toxic waste dumps became fertile soil. Dead coral reefs blazed with new life. Impossible, Vix whispered, their sensors registering the planetary transformation happening before them. Not impossible, Alina corrected. Inevitable. This is what happens when you try to suppress human innovation. We don't just survive, we thrive. We take your obstacles and turn them into opportunities. The Concordiate ships hung motionless in the sky, their weapons powered but useless against the quantum barriers humanity had developed. Alina could almost imagine their crew's confusion as they faced something their advanced civilization had never encountered, a species that could match and even exceed their technological capabilities in mere weeks. You have a choice, Observer Vix, Alina continued. You can continue this attempt to suppress our development, forcing us to demonstrate more of what we've learned. Or you can recognize that humanity is ready for a real partnership with the galactic community. For long moments, there was silence. Alina watched the tactical displays, showing the standoff between Earth's hidden defenses and the Concordiate's mighty fleet. The nanites continued their work, healing the planet while maintaining their protective barriers. Finally, Vix responded, their voice carrying a new tone, something approaching respect. The Concordiate must reconsider its position. Your species has demonstrated capabilities we did not believe possible. Alina smiled. That's what humans do best, Observer. We exceed expectations. As the tension began to ease, Alina looked around at her team. They had done it. Humanity had not only stood up to an advanced alien civilization, they had forced them to recognize Earth as an equal. But this wasn't the end. It was just the beginning of humanity's true emergence onto the galactic stage. To be concluded in Part 5. New Dawn. New Dawn. 1 month after the standoff with the Concordiate fleet, Dr. Alina Santos stood before the newly formed Galactic Council. The chamber, located on a neutral space station at the edge of Earth's solar system, buzzed with representatives from 100 alien civilizations. Earth's seat at the table was new and hard-won. The human nanite synthesis represents a fundamental shift in our understanding of technological development. Alina explained, her voice carrying across the chamber. We're not here to challenge the Concordiate's authority, but to demonstrate a new path forward. The holographic displays around her showed real-time footage from Earth. The planet was transforming. Deserts bloomed with engineered ecosystems, while the oceans teemed with restored coral reefs. In orbit, the first human nanite space habitats were taking shape, their structures growing and adapting to their inhabitants' needs. High Observer Vix, now serving as Earth's liaison to the Concordiate, stepped forward. When we first detected the nanite technology, we feared a repeat of the Murgos incident, a civilization destroyed by its own creations. Instead, we witnessed something unprecedented. True symbiosis between organic life and artificial intelligence. Alina nodded, remembering the tense negotiations that had followed the confrontation. The key was never controlling the nanites, but understanding them. They're not tools or weapons. They're partners in humanity's evolution. The chamber's attention shifted to a new display showing the latest breakthrough. In carefully controlled conditions, human volunteers were working directly with nanite clusters, their thoughts and the machine's quantum processing capabilities merging in ways that pushed the boundaries of consciousness itself. This is why we refuse to surrender our research, Alina continued. The nanites aren't just cleaning our planet or advancing our technology. They're helping us understand our own potential. Every day, we're discovering new applications, new possibilities. A representative from the Arcturian Alliance, their crystalline form shimmering with skepticism, spoke up. And what guarantees do we have that this power won't be abused? That Earth won't become a threat to galactic stability? Alina smiled. The same guarantee we've always offered: transparency and cooperation. Our facilities are open to observation. Our research is shared with any civilization willing to approach us as equals. The nanites themselves have evolved fail-safes that prevent their use for destructive purposes. She gestured to the latest images from Earth. Look at what we've accomplished in just 1 month. We're not building weapons or empire. We're healing our planet, extending human consciousness, and preparing to help other worlds do the same. The chamber erupted in discussion, hundreds of alien species debating the implications. Elena used the moment to study their reactions. Some were clearly frightened by humanity's rapid advancement. Others seemed eager to learn, to partner, to explore the possibilities this new technology offered. James, who had accompanied her to the council session, leaned close. "They're starting to understand," he whispered. "This is bigger than Earth or the Concordiat. This could change everything." Elena nodded. The nanites had already changed humanity's path forever. Their partnership had not only saved Earth's environment, but had opened doors to technological and spiritual advancement that no one had imagined possible. "Members of the Council," she addressed the chamber again as the discussion quieted. "Earth stands ready to share what we've learned. The nanites have taught us that evolution isn't about competition. It's about cooperation, about finding new ways to grow together." High Observer Vix's crystalline eyes shifted through a spectrum of colors before settling on a deep, peaceful blue. "The Concordiat acknowledges that our initial approach was incorrect. In trying to prevent a disaster, we nearly stopped one of the most significant advances in galactic history." The Council's final vote was nearly unanimous. Earth would not only retain its nanite technology, but would help establish new protocols for technological development throughout the galaxy. The old system of suppression and control would be replaced by one of cooperation and shared growth. As Elena prepared to return to Earth, she paused at one of the station's observation windows. Below, her home planet shone like a jewel, its surface already showing signs of the nanite's restorative work. In orbit, the first interstellar ships grown from human-nanite collaboration were taking shape, their designs unlike anything the galaxy had seen before. "Ready to go home?" James asked, joining her at the window. "Home," Elena mused, "is getting bigger every day." She touched the window's surface, feeling the subtle vibration of nanites within the station's structure. They were everywhere now, unseen but ever-present, helping humanity reach for the stars. The Concordiat had tried to stop humanity's advancement, fearing what they didn't understand. Instead, they had witnessed the birth of something new, a partnership between human innovation and evolved technology that would reshape the galaxy's future. As their ship prepared for departure, Elena reflected on the journey that had brought them here. From cleaning ocean pollution to standing equal with ancient alien civilizations, humanity had proved once again that its greatest strength wasn't in its weapons or defenses, but in its ability to adapt, to innovate, and to turn potential enemies into allies. The stars beckoned, and this time, humanity wouldn't be exploring them alone. The end.